Hi, everyone. Welcome to Soul Quest episode 49. We're back and we have Emily Lacey with us today, our guest of honor. We're so thankful for you taking this time to talk to us about your journey.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
We're
Cool.
excited too. On this podcast, Cisco and I like to talk to people about their journey just because we feel like we can learn so much from each other, from our challenges and celebrations in life. So let's have this conversation about your journey and what you've learned and what we can learn from you. So tell us about your childhood, what it was like growing up.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Austin, Texas. I've been here my entire 30 years, native Austinite. I feel really, really blessed that I have amazing parents. They're still together after 30 years, and I have a little sister. And they just worked really hard to give us like everything that they could, like we were their whole life. And so
Oh,
I just feel really lucky. Yeah, they let us try everything, sports,
wow.
music, art, like they were awesome. I couldn't have asked for better parents. So
Wow.
I feel
That's
really
amazing to
lucky
say
in
that.
that department.
I have so many friends or family, whatever, and
Yeah,
I never hear that from them.
I know. I feel like it's so rare and
So
they
you're
still
very
like
fortunate. You're very
I
fortunate.
definitely, yeah,
Yeah.
they even we live a mile apart still, so they're very much involved. I see them all the time. And so yeah, I'm really, really grateful for that.
That is
That's
amazing. Yeah, that
Yeah,
that makes a big difference
it
for
definitely.
you
does. It
living as an
does.
adult, right?
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
as
for
an
sure.
adult, has that like helped your confidence?
But
Um,
the exception is always there. You know what I'm saying? Like no matter what you
yeah,
do, the exception is there. You know?
yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Like they've always just been so supportive and amazing. And I know most people can't say that. I think it definitely set a good example in terms of like relationship wise, because it's not like they didn't go through hard stuff, but they always have made it through somehow. 30 years later, it's kind of
Yeah.
crazy. But like I just all of my friends, like growing up, it was just more common to not have parents that were together, and that was okay too. But like it was kind of weird. Like all my friends had single parents or divorced parents, and my parents have made it this far, so props to them.
Yeah.
So we have a unity here because my parents are still together and Sharon's
Oh,
parents are still
cool.
together. So
That's
this is
awesome.
probably like the trifecta
Right?
of parents still together right now because
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
really means a lot, but it can also mean a lot when you have, if you're divorced or whatever, grew up a single parent,
Mm.
but you have that connection with that person. You know what I mean? Our
Yeah.
family member. And it does go a long way. Like how close and deep and intent and loving, that's the word right there.
Yeah.
Are you with your parents? Because I have a lot of friends who are still together and their parents are still married, but there's still that wishy-washy
Yeah. No, for
relationship.
sure. I think my parents are a little bit different because when my mom was 26 or 27. So it was right around when my sister was born. So I was about 6. She was diagnosed with lupus. And
Uh,
so that was pretty early on in their marriage. And like she even had a doctor told her like marriages don't last through chronic illness. And so
I've
she was,
heard that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And so they have. And my dad has always been there for her and super supportive. And she worked part-time for a long time. She's gone through seasons. She stays home now. But so yeah, I feel like they went through that like pretty early on in their marriage and now they seem like they're pretty solid. So and then our relationship is great. Like I said, they live a mile away. We see them all the time. They see my
Mhm.
daughters all the time. Like they're
Mhm.
number one babysitters. So I appreciate them a lot.
So amazing.
That's
Yeah.
Oh,
cool.
love that.
Yeah.
So, and I know you grew up and you went to Chisholm Trail Middle School, which was a school near and dear to my heart because I taught there for
Yep.
7 years, but I think I just missed teaching you. Or yeah, I
Right.
came like a year after you had Miss
After
Harris.
me. Yeah. I had
Yeah,
already
so
gone to
that would have been
Round
so
Rock. Yeah.
cool.
I know. And
and
then I
then
taught your daughter, so like
I
it
know.
was like full circle.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sharon
so
told me that.
yeah, Emily was
Yeah.
my daughter's violin teacher for a bit, and she's so good.
Yeah.
Emily really enjoyed it. So we knew it was time for you to move on to other things though. So,
Yeah.
but we're glad to still know you
Yes.
and follow your journey, which has been amazing.
Yeah.
So after high school, like so you and your husband met in middle school. Were you guys
Yeah.
together?
Yeah, like we dated in high school, and like imagine your 15-year-old daughter being like, I met the love of my life. My parents were like, yeah, right, you know.
Oh
Um,
God.
so yeah, we dated a little bit in high school, and then we got back together as adults at 19. So
Oh wow.
2012. Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of separated at the end of high school and then got back
Yeah,
together.
well, we did like the on again, off again thing, you know,
Okay.
that high schoolers do, like together for 2 months, not together for a
Yeah.
month, together for 3 months, not together for a month. I, I think our longest stretch was like 9 months.
Yeah, that's
And then,
typical.
yeah, so we did that whole thing and then kind of went apart, kind of grew apart, which I think we both really needed. And then we came
Yeah.
back together and have been growing together for the past 10 years. Actually, we just celebrated like 10 years of being together in August.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And you guys, I mean, how old were you when you got married?
Uh, we got married in 2018, so we were 26.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Well,
Which is
congratulations
the
on.
same time that we met China, our other partner.
Oh,
So we
really?
met China right around the time that we got married. Yeah. So it kind of, and
Really?
it was the summer I got pregnant. So it was like a very busy summer.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Okay, so
2000,
so you
right?
guys met China just like as a friend or like
They worked together.
they
So
worked
they worked
together?
at the
Okay.
same job. Yeah. So that's how they met. And
Amazing. This is so
yeah.
cool. So, okay, so then China became you guys friends. Like how did you decide to bring her on with your family and make this family unit?
Well, I guess so to clarify, we are a triad. For anyone who doesn't know, we're a
Uh,
throuple, a triad,
uh-huh.
whatever you want to call it, the three of us. And so we really just told her that we both liked her and asked her out on a date, and she said yes. And she was interested in growing a family together. And like I was pregnant, and she was like, "That's fine with me." And we very quickly jumped into not just like relationship like we're young kids. It like we were about to have a baby. So it was very much like adulthood, serious relationship really quickly. And we just kind of fell into it naturally. I guess it just kind of happened. We found our groove. We
Wow.
were all working, like
It's
pretty
amazing.
much started living together pretty quickly. And
Wow, that's amazing
yeah,
how you guys were all on the same wavelength and you attracted each other into each other's life. Like, and it was so
yeah,
easy.
yeah.
So
Yes and
cool.
no.
I
Yeah.
mean, when I saw you last when I went to see your show and you told me like now you have this, like how you told me that your wife told you said something like I can't do music, I have this family or whatever, and she said to
Yeah,
you, why not?
yeah,
I thought that was
yeah,
so cool. And so
yeah.
now you're doing this music career, and I
That
thought that was
sounds very supportive.
Yeah, she
yeah,
is definitely. Yeah, she kind of gave me the little push I needed to get back into it. So
that's
I
so
appreciate
cool.
her very much. She pushed me to do a lot of things. So I'm very grateful for her.
I love that. And
Cool.
just like
Yeah.
how you guys have each other to help each other, like it just seems like it
Yeah.
would make it a lot easier to have kids.
Yeah, it definitely helps a lot having two other people to help. I don't know if I'd get to do the things and play the late night gigs and all the things that I do without both of them. So
Yeah.
having both of them
Yeah.
is very helpful.
Yeah. And so how have you guys grown through
Yeah.
this time?
Well, we've grown by two children.
Yeah.
So we have two daughters now. We have a 3-year-old daughter and a 7-month-old daughter. So two babies. We're in like the thick of parenthood right
Yeah,
now.
you are.
Like, but we've definitely grown as a triad. I mean, even just myself, like with the work I had to do when China came into our lives, I wasn't like, I guess you would say it took me some time to come out, like as polyamorous and as being in this triad. That took time, and that was something that we had to navigate through, and it took a while. But I have a really supportive family. Like my extended family has been great. I feel like living in Austin, we're kind of like in a
Yeah.
very accepting community, so that's been nice too. But I definitely had some fear around that, and she helped me get through that. And yeah,
That's great.
That's
Oh my
and it
rad.
makes you like a better communicator too, all around. I feel like people don't think about that, but like three people in a relationship means there's like three people's feelings, like you
Yeah.
know, like three people that have to communicate with each other and make things work. And so
Yeah.
I think it's
But
upped
if the,
everybody's
it's all
communication
about
skills.
the unity, y'all
Yeah.
willing
Oh yeah,
the unity, you and
for
ITY,
sure.
you and
Yeah.
ITY, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
y'all willing to make it happen. And
Yeah.
that's so rad.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just all about being on the same page, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
and so have you had to deal with anybody that has not understood?
Some people, yeah, sometimes maybe not straight to my face, or like I'm trying to think. I guess some people have had to like ask questions, like they don't understand. They're just kind of confused about how it works. Like, are we
Yeah.
all together? Or are you like, what's happening here? And you can like relationships can happen so many different ways. And so I don't mind answering questions in terms of like how we work specifically. And a lot of the times sometimes I get, oh, I've only seen that on TV. So like a lot of the times I'm the first person that someone's like meeting that's even in
Yeah.
this sort of relationship in real life, you know? So
Yeah. That can be
some,
like a really inspiring thing for someone that's thought about it and was scared to do it, right?
yeah, yeah, for
Oh
sure.
yeah, for sure.
So
For sure.
yeah, you can be a leader to somebody, and just to let
Yeah.
people know that everybody's preferences are different and
Mhm.
it's okay, like
Yeah, for sure. And what's crazy to me is, you know, when I was when I had my internal struggles about coming out, I actually had students that were coming out, like violin students and guitar students who were coming out as gay or trans or whatever that might
oh
be. And
wow.
I was like, man, if this 15-year-old can do it, why am I a 27, 28-year-old woman like
Yeah.
mentally struggling with this? And so, like you
Wow.
said, you can inspire someone. So I was
Yeah.
inspired by my students. So yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Like it's just like kind of like you having your kids teach you, you teach your kids, but your kids are also teaching you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's
Amazing.
like normal to me. Like I think when people are confused or weirded out, like it's weird to me that they're weirded out. I'm like, why are this
Yeah, because that's your
you
norm.
know? Yeah.
Yeah,
Like it's my
it's
everyday.
a
So
norm. But at the same time, like in society, there's
right.
these things that we have to comply and live by.
Right. Yep.
Dude, those times are gone. Like
Yep.
there are no such things as the times of the 30s, 40s, 1800s. Like we're all human beings. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like we have to live life as a human. Not
And how we want to live, not how everybody else
yeah,
wants
not
to live.
according to what
Yeah.
some scripture said, or
Right.
what society has deemed us on or indoctrinated us on. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, dude, do you? And I say that
Yeah.
every time I say something, I always go, you do you, and I'm gonna do me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't care what you have to say about me, because you know what? You might learn something from me doing me.
Yeah, exactly.
My thing is always as long as you're not hurting anybody. Like I don't care
Right.
what you're doing, as
Yeah.
long as
Love.
everyone's
Love.
happy and no one's getting hurt. Yeah.
Right.
LOVE. As long as it
Yeah.
Exactly.
then
Right.
everything is amicable. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
or are willing to accept and come, do what they need to do to make everything happen according to how they want to make it happen,
Right.
So.
Right. And it's good because so for so long, our society has lived by so many rules, and people have been put into depression because they're not able to live how they want to live. And it's unfortunate, but today people are, breaking out of their box.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it is. It's great.
Yeah.
So, well, that's an amazing story. Thanks for sharing that with us and inspiring listeners, hopefully. And then, just being aware, that everybody is going to have a different preference. There's no right or wrong.
Right.
So,
yeah, you're right.
And so, yeah, you're kind of like in the beginning stages of marriage, right? Like, even though you were with your husband for a while.
4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have a long
long way to go.
But it sounds like it's off to a good start. So
yeah, great. I think we're pretty solid.
Good. And so how has the music journey been?
An interesting one.
You started early, right?
Oh yeah. So I started, I got my guitar for my 10th birthday. And then I didn't really start playing until I started playing violin in middle school. Like you have to pick an instrument. And it's kind of funny because I went to the event where you have band and you have orchestra and maybe choir. And I wanted to play a band instrument. And I swear, if my memory serves me correctly, I wanted to play the flute, and they told me my fingers were too small. And so, which I don't know if that's something I made up, but that's how I remember it going, because I went to the orchestra table because there was no line and I was ready to go home. And I was like, let's go. And she said, you'd be perfect for the violin. And I was like, great, let's do it. Wow. So little did I know that my laziness in trying to leave that event would lead me to like the most complicated thing I've ever learned in my life. So
that is such a cool story. Like you're just like, okay, sign me up for something.
Right. Yeah. Like, let's just go home. And so I started playing.
6th grade, right? It's like 6th grade.
6th grade. Yeah. Yeah. So now you think I look at like 5th graders and I'm like, oh, you're a baby. Like I was a baby trying to pick out what instrument I was going to play. And I picked violin. Once I started to learn about the violin, then I started teaching myself guitar. So YouTube had like just come out. We were like on dial up, plug it into the phone cord, and like I would watch YouTube and try and like figure out where to put my fingers on the guitar from videos of people playing. And so I taught myself how to play guitar. And then after I graduated high school, I actually got my associates in music, business, performance, and technology from Austin Community College. And after that, a teaching job kind of just fell into my lap, teaching private lessons. So violin, guitar. So I kind of just dove straight into that. I was also performing at the time, live shows, 6th Street, Pflugerville, Round Rock, kind of all over the place.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I was teaching, I was gigging, making bands. They fall apart, they come together, they fall apart. It happens. And then I guess I was around 24 or 25 when I realized that it was not going to be what I expected it to be, my music career. So that's probably a big thing I'll talk about, is like changing your expectations or what you think things should look like, because I was like, I just thought that which is a part of the reason I share my journey on TikTok and stuff too, because I just thought that you just so happen to be playing in the right bar, and it just so happens that the right music rep from the label is sitting in the audience, and all of a sudden you're famous, like, because that's what was portrayed to me on TV. So I was like, oh, that's easy peasy. Like, I'm just going to play and someone's going to find me and I'm going to take off. And when I realized that wasn't wasn't the case for most people. I had this moment of like, oh, well, why am I doing this? Like,
Mm.
what? And so that is when I got my real estate license and did a total career shift. I got licensed in 2018, actually. This is all the same summer, the marriage, China, the
Wow.
pregnancy, my real estate license. Yeah.
Busy.
Yeah, so it was fun. So I like completely stopped gigging. I stopped performing. I stopped recording. And I was just teaching and then doing real estate pretty much full time as an agent.
Wow. And
Yeah.
how long did you do that?
Um, until last November. So about 3.5 years, I was doing real estate and teaching,
And
which
like,
I'm still in real estate, but just in a different lane.
right, right. And so during those 3 years, did you feel like let down or upset? Were you going through anything?
Yeah.
Were you like,
Um,
What did you feel that went on during those 3 years?
I guess I would say not really, because first I had a baby, so
yeah,
I had a
you're
baby, and
Right.
I was like
Yeah.
busy taking care of a baby, and then I was so like engulfed in this like real estate world, and really I appreciate the time I spent there. I worked for Keller Williams, which is like one of the it's the biggest brokerage in Austin, but I learned a lot about growing a business. So like just I learned a lot of stuff that I could take to any business, but a lot of the times I would be like
Okay.
driving to showings and just like thinking about playing music, and then I kind of thought, well, and going back to like when I got my real estate license, I thought like, well, I want to have kids, I want to have a family. How am I going to have kids and play gigs from 8 to 9 p.m. at
yeah,
night? Or, like how am I going to do that and have kids? I'm going to do real estate so I can have a more structured job, which that was a joke to myself. Again, expectations. You don't really know what you're getting yourself into.
yeah.
I found myself working like 60-hour weeks, between both jobs. And then I was like, man, like I guess I always envisioned like if I ever started a business or was working this hard, this many hours, like I thought it would have been for my music. So like,
Mm.
how did I get
Oh,
here? Like what happened? Um, and like, it just never took off for me, which when I sat down and did the work, I actually ended up getting a business coach. We bartered. I gave his daughter violin lessons. He gave me real estate coaching. So that was
uh,
pretty cool. Music's always paid off for me one way
good.
or another. But he helped me realize that like I was just not made to be an agent in this season. I like to like sprinkle that on there. Just my personality. I'm not very confrontational. I don't like, which means I'm not a very good negotiator, to be honest. A lot
Yeah,
of
yeah, I get that.
a
I'm
lot
the
of
same way.
being really.
Yeah.
So I just don't think I've realized like what all the job entailed or how many different jobs there are inside of real estate. Like just like the music thing, I didn't realize what a music career looks like for most people. I didn't realize what a real estate job looks like for most people. And so a real estate agent is a salesperson. And they're negotiating contracts and they're selling and talking to as many people as possible. And I did lots of like personality assessments and like lots of self-reflecting and just realized that like my strengths did not align with the job description, and I spent so much time like trying to work on my weaknesses, which is a good thing, but like there was a shift where I just decided to just focus on my strengths instead, and that's how I ended up with the job that I'm at
That's
now,
good.
which is I'm a transaction coordinator for a brokerage. So I work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, more structured, like in office. But it
Mhm.
works well for me because, especially in this Austin market, like
Yeah.
the craziness everywhere since the pandemic, it would be like hey, a house just hit the market and we want to go see it in like 30 minutes at like 6 p.m. on a Friday.
Mm,
And I was like, oh, like this is why I wasn't doing music though, was so I didn't have to leave my house at 7 p.m. on a Friday, you know?
yeah,
So
yeah, get it. Yeah, one of my best friends actually works for Keller Williams too, and
oh, cool.
I've seen her just like, oh, she's a musician too, which is really funny.
Oh,
Yeah, so yeah, her life is just like, you never know when she's like, oh, I got a showing or I got this
wow. Yep.
training or whatever. It's just like, whoa, it seems so overwhelming. I could never
Yeah.
imagine doing that. And it's like something that people have always been, why don't you go into real estate? I'm like, no, no, no,
Yeah.
not for me.
And what's hard about that too is like, well, we talked about challenges, like part of me felt like such a failure. Like I had to
Uh,
try so hard to not, because people like dream of getting their real estate license. Like
yeah,
you can get your real estate license and you can grow your own business and you can
yeah,
make so much money. And here I was like, oh my gosh, I have the license. I have the years, I have experience, and I'm still not making the money.
right.
What's wrong with me? You
You
know?
weren't in the right place. You weren't doing the
Yeah,
right thing.
exactly.
That's just what it
But it
boils
seems
down
to
to.
me like your music is your passion, your love, and
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
really like
it's funny you mentioned that because I was at like a co-working space one time talking to someone and she said, "What do you do?" And I said, "Oh, I'm a real estate agent." And she was like, "No, what do you really do? I can tell that's not your thing." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
She could see right
Uh,
through you.
yeah, I was
you
like,
sound
"Well,
yeah.
I play music. I'm a music teacher." And she was like, "Yeah, I could tell you're creative." And I was like, "Oh, okay. You just saw right through me." Like,
Yeah.
See, this is what we all do as a society too. Is like, I mean, when I was growing up, my parents wanted me to be, a doctor or something, so
yeah.
I thought, okay, well, I don't want to go to school that long. I'll just be a nurse. I went to nursing school and I failed. It just
Oh,
wasn't
no.
for me, but I was
Yeah,
trying to fit into the mold and do the
right.
right thing. But
Yeah.
when we're trying to do what we think is best, a lot of time we forget where our passions, our heart is. So you found it out young.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully it doesn't change again, but we'll see. Life is a journey.
I know,
I feel
yeah.
like there's so much pressure on like the whole, which I think these newer generations are kind of breaking away from the idea of like you have to decide what you want to do for the rest of your
Yeah.
life between the ages of 18 and 22. Like
Yeah, I
I
know, that's
could be
crazy.
doing something different in 15 years, like you just have
Yeah,
no idea.
Hey,
And so
I'm I am trying to figure out what I'm gonna do
exactly.
the next
Yeah,
10 years. You know what
exactly.
I'm saying? Like there, but I'm that kind of person though. Like I want to grow. That's it.
Yeah.
Like I just want to grow as an individual. Like I don't. My sister is a PhD doctor, and her whole life she's gonna spend it, researching, being a doctor, blah blah blah. I love my sister to death, but that's not what I want to do. Like I want to
Yeah.
continue to grow and learn new things as much as I can. Like what can I learn today? What can I learn next week? What can I learn next year? Like how can I like grow as an individual to expand my mind, basically. Like to
Yeah.
be more open-minded to many different scenarios, instead of being like, I've been this person for 20, no, for 50 years, like a doctor or a
yeah,
lawyer. And I was like,
Yeah.
it's not what I just want to know. Like, I want to know, like, what's it like to jump off a cliff or what's it like,
Yeah. Yep.
yeah,
to just experience different experiences.
right.
Yeah.
And I think our like Cisco and our parents, that generation, the baby boomers, I guess is what they're called. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
they had a hard time, making changes. Like it was like one job for their whole life.
A
So
whole lot. No,
Right.
no.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
What if
How boring.
Yep.
our American society said, "Hey, switch your career every 10 years and to
I
expand."
know.
Yep.
But no, we're like, you're going to be a doctor at 25 and you're going to retire at 65, 70, a whole doctor, and like, not
Yep.
know what else is out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, times are changing.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
Emily, tell us about the song that you released.
Yeah, so my first single actually just came out
Yay.
on Friday. It was called Her. I'm really excited. I actually got to record it with my friend Jamal Knox. So we went to college together. We studied in that program together. We recorded a bunch of stuff and we just never released anything like ever over the course of the 10 years. We never even played a show together until this past Saturday. So we performed
Wow.
live, we threw a party. So that was fun to experience that with him, and I wouldn't have done it with anybody else. So I'm happy he was still in town and around
Uh-huh.
and that we got to do it together. But that kind of tells the story of falling in love with a woman from a woman's perspective. So I specifically made it that way. A lot of my songs I write, gender neutral, use you or they and them. But this specifically was for China and talking about the experience of how I didn't know she was coming in a way. Like I was not mentally prepared, I think, for that and how much like falling in love with another person in a way that's not better than my love for Christopher, but different in a way that I didn't know I needed. And I was like totally taken by surprise. And I guess it's kind of like my coming out in a way, like that journey.
Nice. So beautiful.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, where can people hear it, find it?
Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, pretty much anywhere you listen to music, YouTube. It's
Okay.
Emily Lacey, and the song is called Her. So yeah,
Okay. I heard a
that's
little
about
bit of
it.
it. I saw your live on Facebook. I saw a little bit of it. It's very pretty.
Oh, cool.
I
Thank
saw it too.
you.
I saw it too.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
So,
So, well, let's sum this up. Is there anything else you want to say, or maybe like you want to share a daily habit that you do to take care of your mental health or
Oh, I
physical
guess
health?
I could talk about like how I got back into music.
Oh
So
yeah,
like,
yeah. Tell us.
yeah, I, I guess I finished. So I decided to take the job that I'm in now, in real estate because I just do better with structure. Like I'm just a structured person. And so
Okay.
having a 9 to 5 salaried job, not just living on commissions, kind
Yeah.
of gave me more peace of mind. China was pregnant with our now baby. So it was like, I just need more security. Like I need to be able to stand on my own 2 feet. And then it was crazy, but like 3 or 4 months after I took the job, my friend Dan Guevara, it's actually funny. So I joined this songwriters group because in real estate, they tell you like, go find people at places that at things that you like to do. So like go find leads. If you like dogs, go to the dog park. If you like cooking, take a cooking class. So I was like, I'm going to join a songwriters group. And because of this songwriters group where I was trying to find real estate leads, I like got back into music. So like 3 or 4 months after I took my job, Dan asked if I was interested in playing fiddle with him. And so I hadn't played well, I was teaching, but I hadn't like played in an orchestra or anything in a while. And so I said yes. And that's kind of how everything got kick-started again this year. And as I entered this year, I was like, man, what's the one thing I would do? And so my big thing was I read Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Has anybody read it?
No, but I've heard lots of things about it.
So it really helped me reframe my definition of success. Like this time coming back into it, it was not like, oh, I think I'm going to play in some bar and be famous. Like now it's really just about the journey. Like I just miss playing music. I had this student actually who she would come home and she would play piano, guitar, violin. She was playing like everything. And she would just do it. Like nobody had to ask her, nobody had to make her practice. She just did it because she loved to do it. And I was like, man, I felt that way at some point and I lost that.
Mm.
How do I get that back? And so once I had like the space and energy to start playing again, it just kind of opportunities presented themselves.
It
And
sure did.
took them.
Yeah, that's great. So
Right.
you started playing with,
Timing is everything.
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like crazy when I think about it because it was just like a couple months after I took the job. He asked me to start playing with him, and it was just perfect timing.
Yeah, I saw you start posting that you're playing with him like pretty soon after you took that job. And so Emily and I went to go see you guys. It was so fun.
Yeah,
I love the violin with modern music. Like I just love it.
yeah.
And I love the fiddling too. Like I just love it so much. I was hoping Millie would be more into it, but I think she's just not at that age yet. She was just like, she liked it for a second and then she's like, I'm ready to go home. But one day she'll get there. But I thought it was so fun, you guys. So
Go, thank you.
I hope to
And
see you guys
I
again.
saw some of the video footage, and I was like,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, so now I'm just having a good time. Like I don't have any expectations of like what it should be, or I need to make this money, or I need to be signed to a label to be successful. Like successful is today. Successful is the shows I played this weekend. Like a radio station played my song on Thursday. I released this single. Like I'm here. So changing the definition of what success looked like in my music career has like completely changed my life, really.
That's amazing. Wow.
Wow. And hey, you were living in the moment while you were playing, right? And you
Yeah,
were doing what
exactly.
you love to do. And then, you got your airtime, you got your playtime in front of the crowd. So like that was in the moment. And that's all that really matters. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
and it's the gratitude and the appreciation of just you appreciate yourself for doing what
Right.
you've done because you know a lot of times we all hesitate like what we are capable of doing, but
Yeah.
when we're in the moment we have to do it and we do it, whether if you do it with passion and love and compassion, like it just all falls into place.
Yeah. And that's something I've asked myself too. Like, if this is like, what if this is the last gig you play? Because I don't know when my last day is going to be,
Oh my god, that was so
like,
good.
what if
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
the last time I get to be on stage? And whether that is like a bar full of people or an empty bar with a bartender, like,
Yeah.
I don't care. Either way, I'm playing music, so I'm happy.
Love it.
Yeah,
That's
I
so
love
great.
it. That's it's all about the love. Yes, for sure. And I've been
Well,
there. I know exactly what you're talking about. Like,
Really?
I do events myself. So like,
Okay.
I've had events where there's like thousands of people there, and I have
Yep.
events where there's like 10 people there, and I'm like, like I
Yep.
get it. I'm
Yeah.
saying like you have to be in that situation to appreciate, the big crowds to the little crowds, and you're
Right.
just like, you take it
and
in.
yeah, just
There's
remember
all the
it's all about the music or whatever you're there to do
it's
and share.
Yeah.
gratification of being in the moment and doing it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Showing, your passion for it.
Yeah.
And that's why I think like younger me would have played an empty bar and been like, oh, nobody showed up, beat myself up, beat up the
You can't do
situation.
that.
And now I'm like, well, whatever. I'm just here to play the music. Like, and if people show up or don't, like that's out of my control. I'm still going to play the music and have a good time. So,
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yay.
yeah.
Love it. I love it. I love
Well,
it.
what an amazing story you've shared with us today.
Thank
We're so
you.
thankful. So
Yes.
it sounds like I was going to ask you the question of like,
Oh,
what
yeah.
daily habits do you do to help yourself stay sane? And it sounds like music might be the answer there.
Actually, maybe not. So I try to walk a mile every morning. So I walk my daughter to school. So that's like the easiest way for me to get in some sort of exercise. But I feel like I love being outside, like just outside time.
Yeah.
Um, that I used to do yoga a lot, but I haven't had as much time now that I've started the walking. But I feel like that's just such a good way to start my day. Being outside, not on my phone, I can kind of just decompress and get ready for the day
Yeah.
mentally before I do anything else.
Yeah. That's
Um,
good. I'm sure Cisco would agree because
that's
he's a fitness trainer, so he would tell
oh
you.
yeah. I'm trying to get like more workout time in, but as like a full-time working mom who also has like this side project, I'm like on a time crunch. So I'm like squeezing every ounce that I can. Like,
Hey, 5 to 10 minutes is better than no minutes.
exactly. So I'm like, if I get my mile in, we're good. Like,
that's good. Yeah. That's a lot more than many people do. I think
yes.
mile is good.
And then I really just like calendar blocking, kind of in a way, just mentally. Like, I just try and be really present. Like 6 to 7 is time with my kids, you know, and so I'm not really doing anything else. I try and set a limit on how many gigs I play or like nights a week that I spend away. I try not to miss more than 3 bedtimes a week is like my max, because my kids are, it's kind of the conflict of a little bit of mom guilt, like, oh, I'm at this gig, I'm missing bedtime, or like I have my songwriters group on Wednesday, so I'm gonna miss bedtime. And part of me is like, well, they don't really care, they're just going to bed. And then I'm like, but I care, you know. And then if I miss
that's
too many,
I mean, the thing is that if you're present on the days that you are there, that's what matters, and that they're seeing you live your dream.
Right.
That's going to do more than you not doing it at all.
Yes, I want to show them that, like, which obviously I do have somewhat of an advantage with the help that I do have, 2 partners, parents nearby. Like, I have a lot of help that I'm able to do these things, but I do want to show them, like, you don't have to stop doing things just because you're working and you become a mom, or whatever the case may be, whatever they decide to do with their lives. I don't care as long as they're happy, but I just want to show them that they can keep going for it.
Yay. That's amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
Yay. Thank you, Emily.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. This is great conversation.
Can you share all your social media pages?
Yeah, so everything's pretty much at Emily Lacey Music. It's Lacey, Lacey. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I like doing day in the life videos. You can find me on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. The only thing I'm really not on is Twitter. I haven't gotten on the Twitter train. I'm not good on that.
I don't get Twitter at all. Every time I go on there, I'm like, what is happening?
Twitter like this.
It's just a bunch of words.
Yeah. I need pictures. I need visuals to keep my short attention span going. TikTok has cursed me. So yeah.
All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks so much.
Dude.
Thanks for having me.
I'll come to Austin and see you, dude.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be awesome. Or maybe I'll make it out that way. I played a show in Fredericksburg. Are you in Dallas or Houston?
I'm in Houston.
Okay. Maybe someday, because I played Fredericksburg a couple weeks ago, so maybe we'll make it that far the other way sometimes. I'm like, trying to branch out of Austin. I'm hoping to get in like the San Antonio area because I have some family down there. So
or Houston, you know.
Yeah. I actually have family in Houston too, so they might appreciate it.
Make some connections. Something. Hey, Houston's big. There's Sugarland, the Woodlands, downtown.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. One of the venues out there, you know, and they're their own city community. So like, you know.
Yeah. For sure.
Cool. Thank you so much, Emily.
Yes, thank you.
I'm in town, you're playing, then Sharon and I'll come out and see you.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.